Hello, Tommy here from Overland Transportation System with a long-awaited update on building my O-scale layout up in the ceiling. It's been quite a while since I've done any work. I've had other things in life come up that I haven't been able to work on this, but I finally got some lumber and I've got my brackets up and I'm going to start putting things together. So we're going to do this update today. What I'm using pine shelf boards that are both 6 inches wide and 10 inches wide, and I'm using plywood. I went with 3/4 thickness all the way around. I really didn't need to go 3/4. It was advised that I could really go with 1/2 inch, but I wanted a little extra meat to screw into. So when I figured the width of what I was using, that difference in weight from 1/2 inch to 3/4 was not really going to make a big difference. So I decided to go with 3/4, and I'm using straight pine boards on the straight runs and the 3/4 plywood in my corner pieces. And so let me turn the camera around and we'll show you where we're at. Okay, we're going to start the video in this corner, but I'm going to do a little quick pan around the room first, just to kind of give you an idea of the material that I'm using. Mixture of shelf brackets, as you can see right here, got 3 different ones. We got a little 5-inch upright, I got a much larger heavy-duty upright, and I got a right angle bracket. And so as you can see, the brackets go around the room. There's a length of 6-inch wide shelf pine shelving. Here's a piece also. I've already cut this corner. I realized I needed to do a video after I cut and laid that corner in. So my next corner is actually going to be the beginning of the video. So let me get on my ladder and I'll show you my measurements, how I arrived at my corner pieces. Okay, we're back, and as you can see, I took 2 lengths of shelf brackets or shelf boards, and I put them into the corner. I am also using a mixture of track. I was going to use Atlas on all of this, and I started purchasing the Atlas, and I came across a whole bundle of both straight and curves and Gargraves, and so I'm going to wind up using a mixture. I got quite a deal on the Gargrave, so I'm going to use a mixture of it. In this corner here, this is a Gargrave, 3 pieces of 063. I wanted to be like 3 inches off my wall, and so I laid the track up there, and I took my ruler and I went from inside the corner to the track outside, and I want to give myself 22 inches to give myself some extra meat to be able to trim off later. I'm going to cut a corner piece that's going to run down this way and that way. I'll take these shelf boards, move them, lay the corner piece in, and it'll be a straight run, and a miter piece across the front at 22 inches out. That gives me a couple inches of excess that I can then curve cut with a saber saw later on down the road. As I'll come down off the ladder and show you exactly what I was talking about, which I did yesterday. Sorry about that. As you can see, I got a 6-inch wide here, I got a 6-inch wide there, and then coming out my 22, I got that miter piece, and so I will later contour that around once I get all my track fastened down. So what my game plan is to lay out all my wood, make sure everything fits, and Then I'll put my track together, put it up there, and I'll trace where that's gonna go. And then these shelves will all get painted a nice white. I've got these pieces of flat stock. It's not too thick, but it's good enough to where I'm going to be able to use those on top of these pieces where they make a joint, and I can screw them down so they're nice and flush. And I'll worry about adhering them, fasten them to the brackets at the very end. But as you can see, shoving the stuff around, I've marred up the finish from the brackets, so that'll get all repainted. But that's a couple days down the road. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go out with the measurements that I have for that corner down there, which I have a little cartoon right here. And as you can see, this piece is going to be 38 from the corner, 42 from the corner. This one's going to be 8 inches wide on this end, 6 inches wide on this end. Come in from the end 28 inches, make a mark. Come in from this end in 26 inches, make a mark. Draw a straight line there. That gives me my 22 inches across from the corner out. And that will look like the one I just showed you. We'll pop it on, we'll see what it looks like. Just set the track back in place and we'll continue on. So with that, I'm gonna shut this off, cut my piece of wood, lay it up, and we'll be back. Okay, we're back. So now, as you can see, I've taken my straight boards down and I've got my corner piece cut. And so I'm going to pop that up on the brackets and we'll see how it fits. And then the straight pieces will have to be cut to fit between two corners because I've got 8-foot boards and that's going to be less than 8 foot now. So let me do that and we'll be back. Okay, so for a recap, we're back. We got that piece of plywood in. I've got now that piece of shelf board that was 8 foot. That's now cut down to 68.5 to fit in there, and I will notch this corner to contour it in, as I will contour that inner curve. And you see down here I have to do the same thing where I gotta contour that around. Let me get up on the ladder and show you some track and just laying up there. I'm just getting some fitted measurements just to get an idea where I'm at. So I got my inner curve there. Again, this here is all Ross track. These are 3 sections of 063. I know a lot of people are going to say, oh, you should have went with 072. But I didn't want this to be any further out into the room than need be. I would have loved to just do it in 42 or 54. I did go with 63, so it could run some longer stuff and the curves could look a little more graceful. I realize 072 will allow for all the big steam to run. I don't own any big steam, nor did I ever will. But if some friends had some and wanted to run it, basically they got to hope that they can handle 063. So this shelf here and the rest of the way around the room is going to be 6 inches. The track's going to be about 3 inches away from the wall. We got our 063 curve. Right here where it is wider is because still I'm using Ross and I wanted a passing siding, and so I use their 101 or 101, 102, 100, 101, whatever it is, for their passing siding turnout along with their transition piece, so that the tracks would be, I think I got them at 4 inches centers. So it goes on down and you can't really see from the vantage point, but I got track laid into that curve where I just did the plywood. And so my next move now will be down off the ladder and try not to take you on an amusement ride. Down here, as you can see, this shelf board is right against that corner nearly. So that's going to have to be cut. And where you see these two brackets that are extra long, what turned out to my benefit was when I cut that board right there at 68.5, what was left was this piece of shelving, which is going to work perfect on those two brackets that are extra long. Because what the game plan is, if we turn around here to the track plan, you can see that as this, well, this is what we're building right now. This is what we're building right now. And where these double doors are, you can see there's a turnout right there. Now that is going to be an 072 turnout. And that basically is going to be where those brackets are. So that can be extra wide there using that piece of wood. And the reason I'm going to have that turnout, rather than get on a ladder and put the trains up on the track, what I am hoping to do is my old original track plan here. There's that turnout, and this is going to, this inner loop here, inner line, is going to keep dropping down and dropping down, and it is going to make a series of circles and figure eights in this center of the room right here where I now have my end scale. If I do that track plan, this will go away, and this whole section will be that mountain. And so I'll be able to put trains on and off right around in this location here. And I'll be able to store trains down here, put trains on the track, and they will be able to traverse up and around until it comes up to the ceiling level. As you can see right here, right close to the other side of that ceiling fan right there, it's going to be 70 inches. Right here's the ceiling fan, so this is not going to be affected by the blades. All right, so it's going to be 70 inches there. I want to make sure I have enough height here so that, except for a very tall person, they can walk in the room and go under the track and not have to worry about bumping their head there. So this here is going to be a facade of a bridge, and it's going to be 70 inches, and it'll go to 75, 78, and by the time it gets here, it'll be back up to the 82 inches, which is all around the room. Now, the reason I want to do this passing siding, which I just showed you up there, when you put your trains on and you come up into this loop, you're going to be traveling in this direction. There is no reverse loop. So unless you want to back a train all the way down, okay, you're not going to be able to get back down here without backing it down without a reverse loop to put the engine back up front. So what I figured I would do is make this passing loop. And so the train, say I'm running around this loop, I decide I want to come back down. So I enter this siding, and I'm going to have three, because I can zero in on it. It can not clearing up. But anyway, there's going to be an automatic uncoupler there, an automatic uncoupler down here, and one right in here. Okay, I'm back and I got this all figured out now. Okay, so as I was saying, you come in the siding, you let loose of your caboose, you let loose of the rest of your train. You come out here on your main, back down, come back in here, grab your caboose, come out, drop it there, come back out, come in, grab the rest of your train, pull it out, hook it back up to your caboose, And now your engine's in the front, going in the proper direction to come back down the mountain. All right, guys, I'm back. And as you can see, I now have all 3/4 plywood in the air. I have to show you what became quite a surprise to me. And I'll let it be a warning to anybody else in the future. Okay, as you can see, there's all that white pine board that I bought. Same amount that I got here in plywood. I had 4 6-inch wide by 96, 2 10-inch wide by 96. And they were only up a couple days while I was waiting to make this update. And much to my surprise, I don't know what this material is made of. They said it's pine board and it's a finger groove, but I'll tell you, I found out it's real garbage. I thought this was going to be a great product, being it was already primed, it was nice and straight, and it was just going to be for a straight run. The price was right, but what happened over a couple days' time is the 10-inch boards here, they started to cup. The other ones, 6-inch, they started to bow a little bit. The screws that I used in the brackets to hold stuff down, there's no screws in this yet. I just finished putting my last piece of plywood up here to swap it out. They started just pulling right out. It doesn't say that the stuff is MDF, but it's like it's made of sawdust pressed together somehow. The end grain, it makes it look like it's a plywood, but it's so soft that you can just pull stuff out of it. And why I left this board aside, don't know if you can see this on camera, but this really alerted me. I found out that it actually started to unlaminate. See if I can hold my hand steady and push this bubble down. Now you can't really tell on camera, but the center of this board, it actually bubbled. There, now you can see it. It actually unlaminated and bubbled up. And let me see if, yeah, you can push it right down. So I was afraid that this was going to start happening all over the place once I got the track up, and screws were going to start pulling out. And so I said, before I get too far into doing the rest of this project, let me just eat the mistake of this garbage stuff that I bought, and let me do it all in the 3/4 plywood. So it cost me 1 extra sheet. I had the 1 sheet ripped into 4 6-inch wide pieces for all of these straight runs, and where I'm going to have the double track with the turnout for the runaround, that's 10 inches wide. And what I'm going to wind up doing is I'll lightly secure these down. I'll put the track up that I'm going to use. I'll trace, giving myself a little bit of a buffer, and I'll take these down and I'll use the saber saw and I'll contour these ends, you know, where they jut out. I'll just contour them nice. Same with these inner corners. When I put the track up there, I'll trace on the inside, and then I'll actually, you know, curve these around so they look nice, and you'll be able to see the background a little. See, they stick out so far. That was why I wasn't able to go double track all the way around, and that's why I didn't go with the 72-inch radius, is because yeah, I was going to have my train in the ceiling, but you weren't going to see any of the background that I painted. Now on the 6-inch, halfway across the room, you can see that pretty well. Those shiny brackets, they were extra brackets I had to add in to take some of the bounce out of the board. There wasn't enough brackets holding stuff. And what turned out to my benefit right here, which was nice, is with that one little soft angle, when I put the bracket on the wall, it actually spanned the whole entire miter, and I'm going to be able to put a screw in that bracket, and it's going to hold it nice and flush, and it's going to support the inner corner. So that's going to work out really good for me. As I go around it, if say like some of these splice areas, I've got some strapping I'm going to put on the top, steel strapping with some screws. But if I want, I got a few pieces of the 3/4 left over. I can cut them maybe 4 to 6 inches wide and just put a board right across the seam, put 4 screws in, and that will secure that nice and snug on those joints if I care to do that. As you can see, I did the same thing on this inner miter with the bracket, so that worked out good. So with that, I'm going to let this go for now. My next step, like I said, I'll put the track up there, trace it, I'll cut it with the saber saw, and then I guess I'll pull it all while it's down. I'll repaint all of this white, as I will the bottom of those brackets. And when it goes back up in the air the next time, it'll be for good. And then I can start putting my track down for real. So with that, I'll let this segment go. And I'll make up my mind if I'm going to just publish this as is, or if I wait until I get this all white and finish it up then. But for now, I'll see you later. Have a good day. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.